All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into this company called Egmont. You might recognize the name, maybe from Donald Duck in Scandinavia.
Oh, yeah.
But Egmont's actually this massive, massive media
Oh,
company
yeah. It's incredible the reach they have.
across like 30 countries,
Uh-huh.
and they have magazines and movies and even TV. I mean, you name it.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
But here's the really interesting thing. They're not just a corporation, they're actually a foundation.
A foundation.
Yeah, so how did they go from this small printing press in Denmark
Right.
to this global media powerhouse with a heart? I mean, that's what we're going to try to figure out today.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story, really. Shows how a company can change with the times and still stay true to what it believes in.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking over 140 years of history here.
Is that right?
So let's rewind all the way back to 1878 in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
We meet this young, ambitious entrepreneur. His name is Egmont H. Peterson.
Okay.
Starts his own printing business at just 17 years old.
Wow.
Talk about starting early, right?
That's incredible.
He eventually launches Hurtigt magazine. This was back in 1904.
I know that one.
And guess what? It's still the biggest weekly magazine in Scandinavia today.
That's amazing. I mean, over a century. What's their secret? How have they stayed relevant for so long?
I know, right? They must have a crystal ball or something over there. But part of it, I think, is really understanding their audience, right?
Yeah.
And then adapting to like their changing needs, right? Gemmett started as a family magazine, but over the decades, I mean, they've evolved their content to
Yeah.
really reflect the shifting interests of Scandinavian families.
Yeah, yeah, and to kind of stay true to their core values at the same time.
Yeah.
Like embracing new formats, new trends, new topics. Absolutely.
I mean, it's a tough balance to strike,
Oh, well.
but they've clearly figured it out.
But you can't talk about Egmont without talking about their connection to Disney.
Oh, right, of course.
Imagine 1948. They secure the rights to publish Disney comics in Scandinavia.
Wow.
I mean, talk about a childhood dream come true.
Definitely.
I mean, so Donald Duck, or Anders,
Hmm.
and as he's known in Denmark,
Yeah, right.
became a household name. I mean, everybody knew who he was.
That's iconic.
And this partnership, it had expanded across Europe, and it launched them into a whole new league, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, securing those Disney rights, that was huge for them.
Yeah.
Solidified their position with, children's entertainment,
Yeah.
open doors to merchandise and licensing and all sorts of things.
But, let's be clear. Egmont's so much more than just Disney.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They've built this empire that goes, I mean, way beyond just, those iconic ducks.
So much more, yeah.
They didn't stop at comics. They jumped right into television.
Oh, wow.
They even co-founded TV2 in Denmark.
No.
And get this, they went on to own TV2 Norway, which is the biggest commercial channel in the entire country.
That's impressive.
They really made their mark on television in Scandinavia.
It's a real testament to their ambition, I think, and their willingness to try new things,
Yeah.
They saw how important TV was becoming, and they went for it.
And they didn't just stop there.
Right.
We have to talk about you have to talk about Nordisk film.
Ah, yes, Nordisk film.
Right. I mean, they're practically royalty when it comes to Scandinavian cinema.
Over a century, right?
Over a century.
Yeah.
Producing and distributing films. I mean, you think about those early silent films, all the way up to, the modern blockbusters they do today. I mean, we're talking like the Department Q series.
Oh, I love those.
Right, based on those gripping novels, and even the Oscar-nominated A War, right?
Yeah, A War. Incredible film.
They have a knack for picking stories that really resonate. I mean, not just in Scandinavia, but internationally.
Globally, yeah.
Yeah.
They know what people want to see. It's pretty amazing. And what's interesting, I think, is how their history kind of intertwines with the technology of film.
Oh, interesting.
Like back in the 1930s, they were one of the first to adopt Technicolor.
Oh, wow.
Which totally changed how movies look.
So they weren't just telling great stories. They were like on the cutting edge of film itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Pushing the boundaries, always innovating.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. But this is where it gets even more fascinating, I think.
Okay.
Remember how we mentioned that Egmont is a foundation?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Right. Let's dive into that.
So the Egmont Foundation, it's all about improving the lives of children and young people.
That's fantastic.
And they've donated, I mean, this is a staggering number, but almost 2.7 billion kroner since 1920
Wow.
to all sorts of initiatives. I mean, social, health, cultural, educational.
They're really committed to making a difference.
They are. It's like, they're saying, hey, we're successful, but we're going to use that success to actually give back.
It's a powerful message, yeah.
Yeah.
And it really, I think, it challenges how we think about these big corporations, right? I mean, Egmont shows that you can be successful and also make a positive impact, a real impact on the world.
Yeah.
And I think being a foundation, that structure really allows them to take their profits and put them right back into their social mission.
Yeah.
It creates this amazing cycle.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is it's something that I think a lot of companies could learn from,
Yeah.
It shows that you don't have to choose between doing well as a business and doing good for the world.
Yeah, it's like a win-win.
Exactly.
But let's get into the specifics a little bit.
Okay.
What kind of projects are we talking about here? How is the Egmont Foundation actually making a difference in the lives of young people?
Well, their approach is really it's pretty broad, actually.
Okay.
They support everything from educational programs to healthcare, cultural projects, social welfare organizations.
Wow.
I mean, it really reflects their belief in sort of a holistic approach to how kids develop.
So it's not just about giving money. It's about giving it strategically, right?
Right.
Thoughtfully.
Exactly.
They're investing in the future. It's not just throwing money at a problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They work very closely with organizations, on the ground to make sure that their support is really tailored to what the community needs.
Okay.
Like, for example, they've partnered with organizations that help homeless youth.
Oh, wow.
To give them shelter, to give them support, to help them get back on their feet.
Yeah.
They've also funded programs that focus on early childhood development.
Interesting.
Recognizing that education is really key to breaking that cycle of poverty.
So they're kind of tackling these issues from multiple angles then.
Yeah.
Right. Addressing the immediate needs,
right,
but also the underlying causes,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't just stop at the basic needs either.
Okay.
They've also put money into projects that really help kids be creative, express themselves culturally and feel included.
Okay.
So think, arts programs for kids who might not otherwise have that opportunity.
Yeah.
Initiatives that try to bridge different cultures and make sure that kids with disabilities can really participate in society.
That's pretty impressive, the scope of it all. But let's shift gears a little bit and talk about their digital ventures for a second.
Okay.
How has Egmont, a company that started in print media,
right?
How have they adapted to this digital age?
Well, I think it's safe to say that they've embraced it, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
They understand that the way people get their media, it's always changing, and they've been proactive about adapting their strategy to keep up with those changes.
Okay.
A good example of this is their digital magazine service called Flip.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of Flip, but tell me a little bit more about it. What makes it different from other digital magazine platforms?
Well, one thing is it gives you access to this huge library of publications,
Okay.
not just from Egmont, but from other publishers too.
Wow.
But I think what really sets it apart is the user experience.
Okay.
It's designed to be to be really easy to use.
Okay.
Intuitive, user-friendly,
Yeah. Mhm.
so it's easy to discover new content
Right.
and to just enjoy your favorite magazines on your tablet or your phone.
So it's about like convenience and choice, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
But they have
they've also ventured into the world of e-commerce and marketing services, haven't they?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
They have a pretty strong presence in e-commerce, especially in the Nordic region.
Okay.
They've made some strategic investments in companies that specialize in online retail
Yeah.
and in digital marketing,
Okay.
which is a smart move, I think,
Yeah.
given how fast e-commerce is growing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're clearly positioning themselves to be major players in that world.
Yeah, it sounds like they're not afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And explore new areas for growth.
Mm.
It's that same kind of forward-thinking approach that we saw with Technicolor, right?
Exactly.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, we can't forget about their move into the gaming industry.
Oh yeah, Nordisk Film Games.
Right.
This is a relatively new venture for them,
Okay.
but they've already made some pretty big moves.
Okay.
Like their acquisition of Avalanche Studios,
Right.
the developers behind Just Cause.
Oh, Just Cause. Oh, yeah.
That was a major statement, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Just Cause is huge. It's got a global following.
Huge franchise, yeah.
What's their strategy in the gaming world? Are they focused on like those big budget blockbusters, or are they trying to nurture, smaller independent studios?
It seems like they're doing a bit of both, actually.
Okay.
They've invested in some established studios that have a proven track record.
Yeah.
But they've also put money into some really promising up and coming developers who have fresh ideas.
Okay.
So their portfolio includes companies like Star Stable Entertainment who make these popular horse-themed online games.
Okay, yeah.
And then Raw Fury,
Yeah.
who publish these really unique and thought-provoking indie titles.
So they're covering a lot of ground from those action-packed, blockbusters to those really, niche indie gems.
Yeah, they're diversifying,
Yeah.
appealing to a lot of different types of gamers.
It's smart. It's smart to diversify.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, I think, is how they're using their expertise in storytelling and entertainment
Yeah.
to really make their mark in the gaming world.
Yeah, absolutely.
They understand that games are more than just graphics and gameplay. It's
Yeah.
about creating these immersive experiences
Yeah.
that really capture the imagination.
Absolutely. It's about creating worlds. It's about telling stories.
Yeah.
And they're good at that.
They're bringing that legacy of storytelling into the digital age.
Yeah.
It's a natural evolution for a company that started with magazines and comics, I think.
For sure, for sure.
But, at the end of the day, I think what really sets Egmont apart
Mhm.
is their commitment to using their success to make a real difference in the world.
Absolutely. Their foundation work, it's really woven into everything they do.
Yeah.
It's not an afterthought,
Right.
It's not just something they do for PR.
Right.
It's a core part of who they are.
So let's dig a little deeper into the impact of their philanthropic work.
Okay.
We know that they've donated billions of kroners over the years.
Right.
But what are some specific examples of how they're actually making a tangible difference in the lives of kids and young people?
One area where they've had a really significant impact is in supporting vulnerable children and families.
Okay.
So like I mentioned before, they've partnered with organizations that provide shelter and support for homeless youth, helping them get back on their feet,
Yeah.
helping them build a better future for themselves.
Yeah.
They've also funded programs that promote early childhood development.
Right.
Because they understand how crucial education is to breaking that cycle of poverty.
Well, it's about giving those who need it most.
Yeah. Yeah.
A chance to actually thrive.
Absolutely.
But they don't just stop at meeting, those basic needs, do they?
No, they go much further than that. They've invested in projects that really promote creativity, cultural expression,
Okay.
and social inclusion.
Okay.
They've funded arts programs for kids from disadvantaged backgrounds.
Yeah.
They've supported initiatives that promote tolerance and understanding between different cultures,
Hmm.
and they've helped to create opportunities for children with
Right.
disabilities to really participate fully in society.
It's a very holistic approach.
It is.
Right. They're not just addressing, the material needs.
Mm.
They're also, thinking about the emotional, the social, and the cultural well-being of these kids.
Yeah, it's about the whole child,
It's clear that they're not just, throwing money at these problems.
Right.
They're investing in long-term solutions
Yeah.
that really empower these young people to reach their full potential.
Exactly. And I think this commitment to social responsibility,
Yeah.
it really shows in everything they do,
Yeah.
from the content they produce to the business decisions they make.
It's a pretty powerful message, isn't it? That success isn't just about profits. It's about using your platform to make a positive impact, on the world around you.
Absolutely. And Egmont is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
They're proving that you can do well and you can do good at the same time.
It's a model that more companies should really aspire to, I think.
Definitely.
So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Oh.
what's the one thing that stands out to you the most about Egmont?
For me, it's their remarkable ability to balance their commercial success with social responsibility. They've built this global media empire,
Mm-hmm.
but they've done it while staying true to their values.
Mm-hmm.
They're innovative, they're adaptable, and they're deeply committed to making a difference.
They're a company with a heart.
They are.
And that's really something worth celebrating. But there's still so much more to uncover about Egmont. We've talked about, their journey, their different ventures, and that commitment to social impact.
Yeah.
But there's one aspect we haven't really gotten into, and it's a pretty crucial part of the whole puzzle, I think.
Yeah.
It's their structure, their unique structure as a foundation.
Right.
This is something that really sets them apart from other, media giants.
It really does.
Being a foundation, I mean, that has to have a huge impact on their decision making, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And their long-term strategy.
Yeah. I mean, it lets them prioritize things that a normal corporation might not,
Yeah.
like sustainability, social impact, those kinds of things over just making a quick profit.
So it's not just about like the bottom line, it's about using those profits to create some kind of like positive change.
Exactly.
That kind of like ripples outward.
Like their profits, they go right back into the foundation.
Yeah.
And that's what fuels all those incredible initiatives, right?
Yeah.
The ones that help kids, that help young people.
Mm-hmm.
It's this really, it's like this virtuous cycle where, the more successful they are as a business,
Yeah.
the more good they can do in the world.
It's a fascinating model. I mean, almost like a built-in mechanism, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that as Egmont does well, society benefits too.
Exactly.
But how does that structure actually like impact their day-to-day operations?
Well, it gives them a level of, I guess you could say, freedom that most companies don't have.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have shareholders breathing down their necks,
Yeah.
demanding, immediate returns.
Right.
So they could really think long term.
Yeah.
They can invest in projects that might not, pay off right away,
Yeah.
but that have the potential to really make a lasting impact.
So they can be a little bolder in their choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take risks that a normal company might shy away from.
Exactly.
It can be more innovative, more experimental, more willing to kind of explore new things.
Yeah, and I think that foundation structure, that's a big part of why they were able to, adopt Technicolor so early on,
Oh, interesting.
or make that smooth transition into the digital world.
Yeah.
They were able to adapt, to evolve without the pressure of having to please shareholders every quarter.
It's a pretty remarkable approach. They're playing the long game, not just in business, but in their commitment to social impact as well.
Absolutely, and it's clearly working, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've managed to achieve this amazing balance
Mm-hmm.
between being successful commercially
Yeah.
and making a real difference in the world.
Yeah, they're proving that you don't have to choose, you know?
Right.
You can be profitable and purpose-driven at the same time.
Absolutely. And that's a powerful message, especially these days.
Yeah, I mean, when social responsibility is so important,
Exactly. Exactly.
Egmont's a real beacon in that regard, I think.
They are.
They
Yeah.
show us that it's not just possible, it's actually a recipe for long-term success
Mhm.
and sustainability.
For sure.
It's inspiring to see a company that takes such a holistic approach.
Yeah.
They're not just focused on the money.
Right.
They're thinking about their impact on the world and,
Mhm.
and the legacy they're leaving behind.
Absolutely.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into the world of Egmont,
Ah.
what stands out to you the most?
What really fascinates me is their ability to keep evolving
Yeah.
while staying true to who they are.
Yeah.
They've navigated this ever-changing media landscape
Mhm.
with incredible, I think, agility,
Yeah.
embracing new technology, trying new things,
Yeah.
and through it all, they've stayed dedicated to making a positive impact.
Yeah.
It's a rare combination, and it's really inspiring.
It really is.
Yeah.
It makes you think, Egmont's shown us that success isn't just about profits. It's about, using what you have, using your platform to make a real contribution
Mm.
to society, to the world.
Yeah.
They've challenged how we think about business. Yeah.
And they've shown that you can be profitable and purpose driven
Yeah,
at the same time.
for sure.
As we finish up our deep dive into Egmont, I'm left feeling I don't know, hopeful, inspired.
Yeah.
They're a reminder that businesses can be a force for good.
Yes, it can be.
And that we all have the power to make a difference.
You do.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Egmont.
You're welcome.
It's been a really fascinating journey, and I hope you've learned as much as we have.
Me too.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making a difference.
Sounds good.